afternoon, and welcome to today's Fireside Chat. I am really excited about our topic today because I have Jay with me, who is an incredible child welfare worker dedicated to improving the lives of young people in the foster care system. She has such a powerful story that she'll probably go into a little bit. But before we jump into our show, we want to encourage you to share this message out. So if you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or LinkedIn, we want you to share it out to your networks, to your colleagues, to your friends, to your family. Get the message lifted up because we want to make sure we're inspiring as many people as possible. We also want you to follow iRaise on all social media platforms at iRaise.org, as well as on our website at www.iraiseinc.org. And of course, don't forget to follow me, Shaniqua Moore, at Shaniqua E. Moore on all social media platforms. All right, let's jump into today. Jay, how you doing, girl? You look so good.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. We're twinning. We both got on green.
Yes, let's go green. I'm tired, but today we're gonna first of all, let me just say I'm gonna formally introduce you, Jay, but I have to say that I worked with Jay at Council of Family and Child Caring Agencies. She was in our recent cohort of supervisors growing together, and always very just that natural like leader of the group, not just vocal but very passionate, very knowledgeable, and not just book knowledge but lived experience. And I think that's what really stands you out as the person that you are. So I just want to say I've had such a pleasure working with you, and we were always like, you count on Jay if no one else is. We count on her. So that's that zeal that you have. Definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, likewise.
Yeah. So let me read your bio. So Jay is a dedicated professional who found her calling in helping others through her work at Mercy First, starting as a youth support counselor in February 2022. She became an integral part of the PPP program, providing support to teen mothers in the foster care system. With resilience and determination, Jay took on the role of program manager in April 2023, revolutionizing the way managers approach their responsibilities. Jay's journey to success was anything but conventional. As a high school dropout, she sought alternative education at Delaware Valley Job Corps, where she completed a 1 to 2 year program and hotel lodging in just 6 months. Her drive led her to attain certifications in hospitality, serve safe CPR first aid, and ultimately her high school diploma. Furthering her skills, Jay pursued an advanced training, earning certifications in office and clerical skills. And despite facing personal loss and adversity, Jay's faith and determination never wavered. Jay found her true calling at Mercy First, where she continues to make a positive impact on the lives of teen mothers. Through her journey of ups and downs, Jay remains steadfast in her belief that faith and determination can lead to success. That's incredible. I just want to start off with the first question is, and that's like your journey, your trajectory so far has been full of lots of events and successes. But what inspired you specifically into child welfare, into the foster care system?
I'll be 100% honest. I've never thought that I would be even sitting in this position at all. I never thought about going into the field whatsoever. I was doing taxes right before the pandemic hit, and because of the pandemic, I lost my job. So for most of us, including myself, during the pandemic, it was a time of self-evaluation,
Yeah.
trying to figure it out exactly what it is that I'm supposed to do. I prayed to God daily, reveal to me what my purpose in life is. And for some reason, with all the jobs that I did have, it just wasn't working. It wasn't sticking. Like I was like one of the first ones to get out when I could. So
Yeah.
when I was offered this job back in, I would say October of when the pandemic was just lifting, and I told the person that told me about the job, absolutely not. Working with teen moms, I know me, I know them. It might be a strong clashing. And then I remember something that my pastor at the time, who is now my bishop, told me. I probably was about 14. He told me my attitude could either get me in the door or it could keep me out the door.
That's good.
So I thought about that when reassessing my life on what it is that I really wanted to do. So I decided to take that chance in February and I applied for the job and everything in my life just started aligning. So it was a big shift for me because I'm this is not my norm. As you read my background, it's either going to be hospitality, something in that nature. I thought I was going to be the next Whitney Houston, honestly. A little piece of me. But God has a way of doing things, and He positioned me to get into this, to be a part of this. So I will honestly say I was just taking a big leap of faith. I didn't know what I was walking into, and most of us we stop from walking into things because we're afraid of the unknown. And it's like I'm so used to being a stickler of being on top of
Sure.
saying that, okay, I have to know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
This was a complete different field for me. And when I got in the field, it was just everything was just happening so naturally. My voice was heard, I was seen, people respected me, even me just coming in, it was a different insight that I had. Um, I'll stop because I'll keep ranting, but yeah,
No, good. It's
it
leading.
was a different insight for me. So I'm
Yeah.
happy that I decided to walk in that path.
No, I love you talked about like your bishop, your pastor at the time who sounds like he's very influential in helping you to
Yes.
understand purpose as a
Mhm.
teen. I know how difficult it is to try to figure out what's your purpose in life. Why am I created? What am I doing here? You know,
Yes.
you're dealing with all these hormones and changes, like, in
Mhm.
your identity, trying to understand that, but to have that sort of that person to help you and
Yes.
to stick with you. I'm wondering, you talked about like the idea of needing to know what was next and not wanting, like liking the unknowns. I would wonder if you can talk a little bit about your experience as a Black woman in this field and what it's been like for you.
I'm actually the program that I'm in is surrounded by nothing but women. We just now got a male director. When I became program manager, we got a male director at the same time. So being around a lot of women, I am what, four or five children that my mom have, and we have my oldest, he's the boy. My brother, he's the eldest. So I remember he used to say a lot, I can't be around all of this feminine stuff and stuff like that.
He was
So,
outnumbered.
as women, it's hard to be around a bunch of other women that has strong personalities.
Mhm.
Sometimes there can be a major clash, and this experience has humbled me a lot. A lot because I'm a strong person. I have a very strong personality. And it's, if I want something to go one way, I want it to go that way. So now I had to take the back seat and learn and be quiet and observe. And when your time comes, then you get to do what's necessary for you to do that would be beneficial to the program. So it was a humbling experience. I'm still humbled.
Still learn, and you got into this position last year, 2023.
Yes, so I started in February of 2022 as a YSC. Didn't know what I was walking into. And by July, we got a raise on the job, which allowed me to now move out into my own. So a lot of changes was happening for me in that time. But that's when go back into that alignment.
Mm,
Things started happening quick, fast. I just started accelerating in life. So I was able to get my own place. I got the promotion. I mean, I got the raise, and then I was working 6 days throughout the week, 16 hours a day. And so, and there's no complaint whatsoever. I wouldn't have what I have if I didn't do it. So I thank God that He gave me the stamina to do that.
sure.
So in November, the program manager at the time, she decided to step down
Mm,
from the job. And they were asking others that were there longer than me, would you like, they were trying to do in-house first before out-house. And of
sure.
course you have those that was there longer. I didn't even make a year yet. So I'm just like, they're not gonna ask me. There's no way they're gonna ask me until I had one encounter with my VP of the program. And here I go being who I am
Mhm.
strong, and passionate about what I do.
Sure.
There was a situation I was helping one of the caseworkers take a resident to a potential foster mom, and the house to me was just unacceptable.
Sure.
And at the time, I didn't know if it was my place to speak up or not, but I
Mm.
did because, right, I wouldn't even want my worst enemy living in that situation. So, when the caseworker called the VP, she wanted to speak to me, and I'm like, "Oh, I must be in trouble." So, we spoke on the phone. Long story short, the resident came back to my group home,
Mhm.
and I was a YSC at that time, but she saw the potential of a leadership and speaking up against the grain, even though somebody else probably would have said yes to the situation. So when that happened, that's when she offered me an interview for the position.
Wow. You
And
see,
so I'm like, okay,
true.
right. And
Sure.
here I go. Now I'm like, okay, I got the interview, but then here comes self-doubt. Nope, you
Mhm.
don't know what you're doing. These people are not gonna listen to you. The
Mhm.
girls are gonna be too common with you.
Oh,
And so it was again, it was a lot of changes for me. To now I now had to think about, okay, is this something that I really want to do?
mm,
And once I'm in. There's no turning back.
I
So
love
we did the interview in November. By the time April came, I honestly didn't think that they were going to give me the position. I thought they were just going to go out and find someone outside. But when April came, they called me on a Sunday, and I'm like, HR works on
it.
Sundays. I was on my way to church when they called me
When
too.
they
I was
when
like,
they
"Thank
want
you,
to do that
Jesus.
bad, they do.
Won't he do it?" So they called me on a Sunday and they told me that the position was mine, that they were going to send the contracts and everything, and I was going to have to sign over and things of that nature. And I'm just like, okay, I said this was something that I wanted. Now we in it. It's go time.
Incredible.
So yeah.
That's incredible. I'm thinking of a number of things, Jay, when listening to your story. One of the things that come to me is transitions and how hard it is to navigate them,
Mhm.
especially early on in your career. And I'm wondering if you can speak to that. What are some of the things that you did to help you navigate that transition, and that also that elevation? 'Cause sometimes people are also, I think it's difficult to recognize when like an opportunity is there. You mentioned self-doubt being something that sort of settled in for you. So what are some strategies or advice you can give to those that are trying to navigate transitions?
I would say for me, a lot of prayer. It's still to this day, it's a lot of prayer. And make sure the people that are in your village are people that are going to push you.
Awesome.
And you have to now so, reflect on yourself, look in the mirror and tell yourself, no, this is what we're going to do. And get out of your own way. Because a lot of the times it was me, it wasn't other people. It wasn't that I didn't qualify for it. It
Mhm.
was me saying, I'm okay with just being behind the background, pulling the curtains. I'm okay with that. When
Mm,
it's a calling, it's a need for me now to step to the front.
mm,
As to where if I would have took the position back in October, I don't think I would have been on this mature level that I'm on now. So
sure.
everything happens for a reason,
Mhm.
even though I self-doubted myself back in October, but then I came back around in February and I said, no, this is something that we're gonna do. Stop selling your it was a pep talk to me. I had to stop selling myself short
Yeah.
and know that if I ask for a thing, God is gonna back me on anything that I do. And know that He will give me the endurance, the strength, the stamina to withstand because it's a lot of trying times here, and
Mhm.
so sometimes for me, I just got to go straight to him.
That's right.
Not man, not a person, not a book. It's
Mm,
just straight to him. But I do also have a village that speaks my value into me when I can't see it for myself. Again, my bishop, my mom, my sisters, my church family, even you. We have this thing where you're gonna be my coach. I'm ready for it. I accept the challenge.
I'm excited.
I also have people here at my job who sometimes I have a go-to person here at my job. We call them what work besties. So when I need to, it's a safe space for me. So when I need to unload, but even in that unloading, she still encourages me like, Jay, you got this. You've been doing it. You got it. So for me, that's good stuff to have
That's
while you're dealing with transition.
It's so good. It reminds me of something that I heard from a lady. It was in a class in a really late at night last night, and I think her name was Dr. Faith, and she said, if you want to die fast, do it by yourself. If
Mm,
you want to live, do it together.
mm.
Reminds me of the importance of a village.
Yes.
We can't do this on our own. And it sounds like when we're navigating transition, we have to be connected
Yes.
community and to a village.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You also talked about the self-doubt, and I think one of the challenges that we have as women, as Black women, is the imposter syndrome, which I'm
Yes.
sure you heard of it, and that is doubting that we have what it takes when we have way more than it takes. We're
Mhm.
overqualified most of the time, and I think you said it you articulated really well. You told yourself in the mirror, you're going to do this. Like, you don't have a choice. You have
It's
to.
a daily thing.
Yeah,
Daily.
I love that. So tell us a little more about like your role in child welfare. What are you exactly doing? And what inspires you every day to keep going?
I am the program manager for our mother baby. I work for Mercy First. Sorry, let me start there. I work for Mercy First, and we have a PPP program, which is prenatal, postnatal parenting, and that's dealing with teen moms. I am now basically the overseer of the group home. So I'm the program manager. So I have to manage staff, I have to manage residents, babies. I
Yeah,
have to manage the budget. It's a lot that comes into this.
yeah,
What keeps me going, honestly, is my girls. I'm not supposed to say my girls, but my youth, my residents, they keep me going because even though I was never placed into the foster care system,
Mhm,
I know what it is to feel abandoned.
mhm,
I know what it is to feel as if you're not being heard or seen.
mhm.
But I also know what it is to feel love, connection, because I had those people that stayed on me through my storm. So I say something to my girls all of the time when they get themselves all riled up. I say to them, if Miss J say I got you, I got you. And that's not something that they're used to. Unfortunately, I have girls that sometimes come from the street, sex workers. I have girls that are voluntary placement, that they may have a big family, but the mom or dad just decided to put them in the system and keep the rest of the siblings. That's another situation all in itself.
Oh yeah.
So me, I know that I'm here to guide them through that. When people hear burdens, they just automatically think that it's a negative situation. And
Mhm.
all of the time being a burden carrier is not negative. Sometimes you gotta carry that weight because the people that you're carrying the weight for are just not mature enough to carry it themselves.
That's so good.
So and I learned that from again my bishop honors
Yeah.
too.
I
But
don't see this.
even with my mom, I
Mhm,
saw my mom take care of a lot of people, a
mhm.
lot of people, and I was just one. Every time I walk in the house, I'm like, somebody else is here again. But it was a need for her to do that, as to where there it was a need for her to do it, and then I guess it kind of fell on me to do it. I
Yeah.
didn't even realize until you guys sent me the email that you were going to honor me today on the podcast. I was like, I have to write a bio about myself. It was kind of difficult because I've never really focused on me. I
Mm,
try to focus on others to help them. I know I do great at what I'm doing, but the focus was never on me. So with my mom, I didn't realize again, everything comes full circle in alignment. My mom was a school teacher. She worked with teens. My brother, he works with male teens. My sister, she's a social worker. So
wow.
it's just like I was trying to go away from something, and I think God was actually calling me to it the
Yeah.
whole time. And even when I had a season in my life when I was a YSC that I wanted to leave,
Mhm.
every time my 2 weeks notice was in at once,
Wow.
but I couldn't leave because who would they go to? And that was as a YSC. That
Wow.
was before I even became program manager. And my girls didn't even realize they was manifesting something over me that I couldn't even see. They was
Mm,
like, Miss J, they might as well make you the program manager. You're already doing the job. You're our program manager. Now
mm.
they're like, Miss J, you should be the director. And I'm like, hold it.
Receive whatever
But
there's.
what they don't realize is that while I'm helping them grow, they're helping me grow all at the same time.
It's incredible.
And it's a beautiful experience because sometimes I have my days when I'm like, all right now. But then it's okay, you was once a team. How
Mhm.
did you want to be reached as a team?
Mm.
And that's the way I go about things while with managing them. I don't like to talk at people. No, let's have a conversation. I'm now teaching my girls how to have difficult conversations. They
Mm.
share a house with other people. It's three of them in one house, and y'all all have kids. You
Mhm.
have babies. So that's a lot all in itself.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if they came from a situation where they didn't have to share, to now that they have to share, you're gonna see they're clashing.
Oh, yeah.
And even with the clashing, it's okay. But it's what you do after the clashing that really counts.
Right.
Now we all gonna sit down and we're gonna have a meeting and we're
Mm.
gonna agree to disagree and we're gonna move on because this is only temporary placement. I
Mm.
tell my girls, never get comfortable here. This is temporary placement. And even when you're out, regardless of what help the government is giving you, that's still not even permanent.
Mm.
So now you got to start doing things in your mind. Okay, I have to now, if the government decide they no longer want to fund anything anymore, are you going to be okay?
That's
Because
good.
life is not just about you anymore. It's about your baby.
Mhm.
So they, as I'm helping them grow, they're helping me grow a lot, a lot. So they are what keeps me going in this line of work.
Oh, that's incredible. You know, you're teaching them life. Teaching them life, right?
Yes,
It's like you're that consistent figure that they need, that role model, you're scaffolding, you're coaching, you're mentoring, you're imparting, right? You're
mhm,
doing all these things, but you're giving them the reality of it, right? Like,
yes,
listen, this program is not permanent.
yes.
And the reality is with government funding, things might just,
It can shift. I've
yeah,
seen it happen.
I have seen right instantly,
Yes.
sometimes without warning. And then what do what do you do next?
Mhm.
So I think I love how you are placed in that place where, such a time as this, to be able to bring that light, but also that strategic direction to the teenagers that you're working with. I want to pick your brain a little bit in a
Sure.
few minutes that we have left. In your experience in working in child welfare and noticing the systemic inequities and disparities within our child welfare system, what are some of the changes or solutions that you would recommend, to better support teen mothers that are in the system? What are some strategies or systemic solutions that you would suggest in light of your experience working with them to address the systemic inequities?
In my short amount of time of working with them, I think that we need to be more realistic.
Mm.
So me being in this position and of I believe with your help I can get certain things out of my brain now onto paper, maybe even a proposal.
Mhm.
But I feel sometimes I will speak for myself. Being in this work place, what's the wording I want to use without getting too far ahead?
Sure.
It's not real.
Mm.
It's not real.
Mhm.
I'm not sure when they took it that teens don't have to go to school
Mm.
or that they don't push them to go to work.
Mhm.
But there was no way as a teenager living at home with my mother, you wasn't going to do one or the two.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And in this world, I get it. They're trying to say everybody has their own rights.
Mm.
We shouldn't force them to do certain things. But I don't think that, I'm not saying it should be a force, but
Mm.
I'm not saying that they should not do it
Right.
too. Like with me, I didn't do high school. I
Mm.
found an alternative route. There's many different ways that you can go about getting things.
Sure.
But if you say, okay, this one doesn't have to go to work, this one doesn't have to go to school, but we're going to give them an apartment, what
Mhm.
is that actually teaching them?
Mm.
They
Mhm.
know nothing about finances. They might not even know nothing about hygiene, nothing about cooking, cleaning. So it's like, okay, I'm here at the group home. I know by the time I turn 21, y'all gonna give me an apartment.
Mhm.
And that's all I need. And then I'm gonna go to HRA and I'm gonna get a one-shot deal.
Mhm.
and the government is going to pay for the rest of my housing, and I have to do absolutely nothing. Last Friday, the Friday that just passed, we had a Zoom meeting with the commissioner for ACS. And the same thing I just said, I said to him,
Mhm.
because I feel like we're setting them up for failure when we do things like that. So now I have to figure out, okay, how can we change that? And I'm
Mhm.
not saying that the program doesn't promote school or working, but there's no discipline or consequences if they don't do it.
Mhm.
I can be 14 with a child and I can stay at home all day. They're going to provide me with room. I'm room and board. They're going to provide me with food, clothing. They're going to buy my baby stuff. And I don't have to do anything.
Mhm.
So with me, when meeting my residents, I don't give them an option of whether or not they're going to go to school. No, we're going to do something.
Mhm.
One, you're already a minority.
Mhm.
You don't want that to be your hand. Like you see how our names is down here? And
Mhm.
we got extra stuff behind our names. We don't want that to be attached to our names for the rest of our life. If it's a stepping stone, let it be. And you walk up so then you could come back and you could grab others so they don't got to go through the same thing that you're going through. So these are the things that I try to let my residents know that no, let's get the education. Let's start working. They
Yes.
have a savings account. Well, they have allowance here. And
Mhm.
I tell them, no, it's a strict savings account. There's no loans at J Bank. No loans at all.
No loans.
This will be presented to you when you and your baby is getting ready to leave out. So you have a nest egg for rainy days. It took me a very long time to know what a nest egg in rainy days really look like
Mhm.
until I didn't have it. I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do?
Mhm.
But if someone would have taught me certain things earlier in life, I wouldn't have had to go through that experience. But it was a reason why I went through that experience. So now that I'm here, they won't have to go through that experience.
It's awesome. I think one of the solutions is having more J's. It's a perfect
I
solution.
was thinking it, but you said it.
Right, so people that look like our teens that understand, that have the lived experience, that's not willing to allow them to settle for the status quo. Because I think what you're
Yes.
talking about is a system of codependency and dependency on government that's cycled, right? Every generation is the same thing, but when does the cycle break? When do
Yes.
we help teens in the system develop self-mastery skills and live and
Mhm.
understand their full potential and reach their full potential? How do we create a trajectory or a pathway to help them get there? And that's what you're doing.
Yes.
You're the solution. So I love what you're saying. I wonder, how do we take this and spread it to other group homes outside of Mercy First, or even expanding past your site? I would love to see that replicated throughout New York City.
Yes, that's my challenge to myself. I gotta work on it.
We're gonna do it. Let's
Gotta work on
coach
it.
it. These coaching sessions rolled out,
Yes.
because your voice is definitely needed for sure. Um, well, we're wrapping up, Jay. My last question is, for those that are looking to go into child welfare, um, especially in the area of supporting teen mothers, what's some advice that you can provide to them?
I honestly would say if you don't have the heart for helping people, understanding where they're coming from without any form of judgment, don't walk into this field whatsoever. Whether you have the credentials or not,
Yeah.
it's not always about being book smart.
Hmm.
Because some people can just throw the book at them, but they're not reaching anyone.
That's good.
So it's I believe it can be twofold. It can be the book smart and the life experiences. You
Mm,
will reach people so much more if you even walked a little of their path
mm,
than to just say, oh, well, I have a degree in this and I know this through studies. It's a different age
that's right.
from when that book was published to now.
That's good.
And we have to keep evolving with the times. This is not just something I tell my staff all the time. Please make sure you never say to the residents, oh, when I was a teenager, I didn't do X, Y, and Z. No,
Don't
let's
be my daughter.
right. And when you say that, there's a difference when you talk at and then talk to, right? If I say, I never did that as a teen, One, I was at home with my mother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's the difference already.
That's right.
Before me even elaborating on the rest,
That's right.
they're here and they don't want to be here. But unfortunately, that was the hand that they was dealt for this season of their life.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, okay, you know, Miss J, she didn't make all of the right choices as a teen.
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of mistakes. As an adult, I'm still making mistakes. But
Right.
my mistakes, I'm not going to let my mistakes define who I am or
Mm-hmm.
who I want to become.
Mm-hmm.
You see how you just smiled when I say that?
Mm-hmm.
That's the response that I receive from my resident rather than saying, I never did that as a teenager. My mother would never let me do it. It's a different response because now they felt a connection. I'm reaching them. I'm
Yeah.
not talking at them. So for me, that's something that I would tell workers that might think about coming into this field. It's not about the money.
Right.
You have to have a passion, drive for it. It has to now be somewhat of your purpose.
Mm.
And then even with if you do decide to walk in it, make sure you still take care of yourself. I mean, one thing that I did love that you and Bruce always did
Mm-hmm.
during our leadership workshop. All right, we're gonna take a moment, inhale,
Mm-hmm.
exhale,
Mm.
and how do we self-care?
Yeah.
Because this field is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'll get triggered by your past due to the things that's happening now, and you have to be okay with going towards your triggers because if you want that healing, you got to walk through it. You can't just say, "Oh no, I'm triggered. I don't want nothing to do with it." You got to walk through it so you can know how to manage it better. Because we'll never get over our triggers. We just know how to manage them.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if you're not someone who is compassionate, shows empathy, all of the emotional intelligence umbrellas that's under it, please leave this field alone.
Leave it alone. Do us all a favor.
Leave it alone.
Oh, Jay, that was good. I was tracking with you, and we could go on. We got to do a part two for sure because you
Sure.
have so much to offer, such a important voice in our world, in our city, in our industry, and it needs to be elevated more. So I really appreciate you, and I
Yes.
appreciate our space that we share together. I appreciate what you do for the teen mothers, and I know that it's making all of a difference and helping them to be shifted into their purpose in life. But we're going to come to a close now. We're a little over time, but please share with everyone how could people reach you if they're interested in chatting with you or having you come on to maybe their podcast. How could they reach out to you?
You guys can reach me through my Instagram. It's at JAY_E79. I'm currently not on Facebook. I've been on Facebook for about 5 years, but maybe I'll start back up on Facebook.
Mm.
And it would be a pleasure to be on any more platforms pertaining this issue. Well, not issue, but have a conversation with being in the child welfare system, especially as a millennial program manager.
Love
So
it.
yes.
We got so much work to do, Jay.
Yes,
We
ma'am. I'm excited for it. I'm
just
excited for it.
we're gonna do. I'm excited. Well, I appreciate you again. I appreciate all of you. Please reach out to Jay at J_E79 on Instagram. That's where you can find her. And we are gonna have a part two, so we'll bring her back on in the future. But for today, we are coming to a close. We appreciate everyone for tuning in during this fireside chat. If anything resonated with you, comment, let us know, reach out to us, even if you're watching this after the fact. Don't forget to also share this out so we can continue amplifying these messages. Please don't forget to visit us at iraceinc.org. If you are in need of any support, emotional, social supports, mental health supports for your children, you parents as well, we have tons of support available for you that are free of charge on our website. So go ahead and check it out. If you are a school and you're in need of mental health support for the next school year, whether you're in New York City or in the Atlanta area, you could reach out to us through our email at info@iraceinc.org. And last but not least, our executive coaching program for all of our kids that are interested in becoming entrepreneurs or business owners is starting in about another week. So we have limited seats available and also scholarships available. to the students that need it. So please go ahead and register as soon as possible. Thank you again so much, all. Thank you, Jay. We will
Thank
speak
you so much for having me.
for being with us. And thank you all